Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of What's on the Menu, Nate. Well, today's episode we'll be doing caramelized onions. Now, you can use any type of onion that if you want to caramelize it, you can use either red onions, sweet onions, yellow onions, just your preference of choice. Now, what you'll need, if you got any, like say, any leftover onions that you just got laying around in the fridge that are still fresh and you don't know what to use them for, well, you can use caramelized onions on meat products, say like putting it on meatloaf or chicken or just any particular meat-based product. Or say if you also want to put some of the onions in, say, your scrambled eggs or just whatever you like onions in. Now, what you'll do is if you got any leftover onions, just open up the bag, or if you want to say you want to do a fresh onion, well, I'll show you how to do that. Now, this one is a pretty good example of what's left of the onion. Just pour the product on either a paper towel, or you can use say a cutting board or whatever you prefer to use. Now, what you'll need to do is with the onion, if you see any of this dry outer skin like this, and if you also have a little top piece or that are like the stems on the edge, sometimes they'd be on the top and the bottom. What you'll do is you'll use a knife, like say either cutting knife or a ginsu knife, whatever you decide to use, and just cut those stem pieces off, depending on if you like the stems or not, which I'm not one of those people that do. Just take the stems, toss them away in the garbage, but the stem on the top has already been cut off from earlier. You'll peel off the outer dry skin, which ain't too hard. Sometimes it'll come off in one piece, but if it comes off in too many pieces, just pull off the extra layer on the outside. And then just take that piece of the outer layer and just throw it away in the garbage. Or you can throw it out in the compost, whatever you decide to use. Now, what you'll do is, now if you like to have diced onions, you can either do it by hand or you can put it in a food mincer, depending on how you like it. Now, what you'll do is you'll cut the onion down the center, and you can also take off a few of these extra layers that have kind of gone bad too while you're at it, and just throw those away, or put them in compost, however you like it. Just take those, put them off the sides. And you can also cut them in any style you want. You can either cut them from the side like that, or cut them in the center and just cut several little lines and layers to make sure to get them all cut up. Okay, and once you're all done cutting up all your onions, depending on how you like it, just put the knife off to the side so you don't need to use that anymore. Pull your onions off to the side on the countertop, and then you'll get a pan and a piece of tin foil. Now, you can use a pan without the holes in it, or you can use it, but if you do use one with the holes, just make sure there's more than enough room in the tin foil so none of the juice leaks out through the holes and gets on the bottom of the oven, because if that happens, then uh, it could possibly start a fire in the oven. And I said possible. I've seen it happen many a times for first-time cookers, and you don't want to do that, because unless you want to burn your house down. Okay, next, what you'll need to do is you'll need to get some butter spray, which I like to use when cooking most of the time. Spray that on the tin foil. Take your onions, put them all in the tin foil. Dispose of the paper towel. And to get them nice, good, and done, spray it with a little extra butter spray. And then just take the tin foil, crumple it up together. Kind of like, say, if you're doing a baked potato, if you know how to make one yet. Make sure all the holes are covered so none of the juice leaks out. Now, what you'll do next is you'll make sure your oven is set at 400 degrees or 425, whatever you prefer. Higher the temperature sometimes won't take as long, depending on the style of oven or toaster oven or whatever you're using. I wouldn't recommend a microwave, or it could pop in the in there. And then next, what you'll do is then you will open up your oven. Now, I've already got some onions already caramelizing in here, so we'll take a look on how they turned out. Time-wise for the onions, I'd say at least about 30, 45 minutes. Sometimes 50, depending on how many onions you're using. You'll take your onions out and then just put a fresh batch in. Put it in there, close it, and close it up. Now let's take a look at the finished product. It's nice and steaming. Just make sure that you also beware of the steam, because you don't want to get a steam burn. Okay, now let's take a look at the finished product. What you'll do is be very wary of the steam, because you don't want to get a steam burn. Now, just be very careful. Sometimes you can let this cool or such, which we didn't use very many onions in these batch, so there won't be as much steam depending on how long you cooked them for. Best to let them cool and let some of that steam release. Just be careful and not get a steam burn. Now, I would recommend using a oven mitts though, but make sure they have fingers. But it's all right for this time around, because I didn't put as many onions in these batches as like we did on this batch. Now let's take a look at what they look like. Now, to tell if they're done, what you'll need to do is just get a fork and make sure they're not crunchy, because if the onions are still crunchy, then they need to go on a little longer. I'd probably say a little bit. Now, to tell that they're done, they'll be real soft and mushy. Taking a look at that, that is how you oven caramelize an onion, depending on your style or recipe. They'll be nice, soft, And you can also try one if you decide to. That's good. Well, I hope you liked enjoying caramelizing onions with me. And if you join us next time on our next episode, I'll teach y'all some more dishes to cook. I'll catch y'all later, and have a good day.